What's that? Yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Ultimate pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening and welcome all. Amendments to the agenda tonight. Under community participation, item 4.2 for Zach Moser for AP Chemistry is removed. Item 4.3 is an addition for Byron Westridge to give an activities update. Under the consent agenda, 5.7 for the assistant golf coach, Bob Dean, has been struck. Under business, item 7.2 for the acceptance of resignation received from Tracy Nelson, Ag Ed instructor is added. And 7.3 is approved Jerry Bayou Junior High golf coach. Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I can give a quick time meeting update.
Okay, we'll have that as item 6.5. Okay, item 6.6 will be health and safety.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as
Do I have a second? Heather? Okay, motion by Tim and a second by Heather. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Community participation. All members, please be aware that Kimball School Board meetings are videotaped and loaded to the school webpage for the community's viewing at their convenience. Discussion on parameters may be requested. So item 4.1 is the senior class update.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Kaylee Hector, the 2017 senior class president, and I am here on behalf of our class asking for an early dismissal, with our last day being Friday, May 26th, as we get out, our graduation is June 1st, and May 29th is Memorial Day, so we would be missing that day of school anyways, so we are asking for 3 days off. Tuesday, May 30th, Wednesday, May 31st, and Thursday, June 1st. And as a class officers, we recognize the fact that we need to make sure our peers are keeping up with their schoolwork, and this is a privilege, not a right, and so we need to keep it as an incentive for us, and it benefits us as we're getting ready to prepare for the next step in our life and stuff like that. So I have a letter for the school board. You'd like to read that, and do you have anything else?
Everybody should have received it in the packet this week. Would you like her to present it, or are you okay with that?
And I could probably provide some insight to the senior classes in years past have come to the board and asked permission for those last 3 days off, and it is somewhat of a tradition. But they are held accountable for their attendance and for finishing strong on an academic note. So, in the event that doesn't happen, we would have a class meeting and communicate that not only to them and parents and the board, but as this date showed up on the calendar, they've been doing a really nice job. So I would fully support and ask the board, please really seriously consider aligning that early out. We've done a nice job so far this year.
I'm all for it, and appreciate the great work they do. I would recommend that they would have somebody do some proofreading on the letters that they submit. Unless you're looking for days to be filling days, or I'm not sure what my copy says, but I don't think it says following. So I would recommend proving that. But enjoy your time away, and thank you for your great work here.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Is this actually, do we need to vote on this tonight? Let's see what the agenda. Okay, I have a motion by Tim and a second by Carla. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please, can you let everybody know? Perfect. Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, Mr. Westridge.
Awesome. Well, just so you know, about 2 weeks ago, we got a reclassification, information about what class we'd be in each sport. And the good news is we're moving up because of our enrollment. We're moving up to 2A in all sports except wrestling, which just has 3 classes. Volleyball, which we were about 3 or 4 students away, so I'd expect that these next 2 years will be the last one. And softball, which we are 1 student away. So we'll stay single A in those, but double A in boys basketball, baseball, girls basketball, and as of now, football. I did petition the state. It's very rare, but in our situation where we haven't won for a while, we're trying to build a program. I petitioned the state to see if they would consider us to stay single A. They met yesterday as advisory committee. I won't find out till next week when the league votes on it. So I think we have a really good case. I had Pete Cheeley write us a letter, which is, there's a ton of paperwork to fill out. I asked Emmett Keenan, who's down at the Saginaw School League office, activities director at Cathedral, if this was a worthwhile thing, and he goes, yes, in your situation, it's not gonna help. I think you should do the appeal process, so I'm pretty confident that we'll get it. It's rare that you do, but I believe we will.
Would it just be a temporary grant for 5 years or 2
2.
years or 2 years?
Yeah, and I stated that in my letter as well. I was looking for a one-time deal, so I'm kind of committed to that, which, as much as we've grown, I just assume it's gonna be even further from that number next time. I'm not really sure how they specifically come up with the number, but they take your open enrollment, or excuse me, they take your numbers that are reported October 1st or 15th? October 1st to MBE, which G.A. Klein, I think, was 225 to your top 4 grades, and then they rate it based on your free and reduced lunch, which is 23% this year. And so the number is 206 that we sent. That's where we're at. So I think we're within 2 or 3 of football. So we'll find out how that works. Yeah, and then next item I have is just winter sports recap. We sent 3 individuals down to the state tournament in wrestling. They I think had a productive year. They really struggled at first, and you know, if you look at their scores of the same opponents earlier in the year versus towards the end, they did far better. So they made good strides, and I think had a really successful year in that standpoint. Didn't win a lot of events, but got better as the season went along. Girls and boys basketball finished the same. They were subsection 2nd place. They both had 23 wins. I don't know in boys basketball if that's a record, but I know for Mr. Klein it is. Here, he's never had a 20-win season. They were 23-6. So good for them. On Saturday, speech had our contest here at Kimball. There weren't speech meets around in the area, so everybody was here. We had over 500 applicants. And I don't know if you looked on Twitter, but I put a picture of 20 students talking to the wall right behind us. It's just so unique. Unless you've ever been in a speech meet, can't really understand it. It's unique. So yeah, they have a few more meets to finish up. Spring sports are. I had talked to, or I mean, you can see on the agenda we had a couple of changes. We hired Gary Baugh, who's our industrial arts teacher, as a junior head coach. He's got head coaching experience, so he'll be great. Hoping that he can recruit, get a few more students. We're low in numbers in girls golf, so we're hoping that we can start at the younger level and increase. And having another coach on staff, I think, is huge. So he'll be great. Zach Dingman wasn't able to coach baseball this year, so we moved Blake Baran up from 7th grade to JV, or assistant, I guess is his title. And then Jordan Schlepper has a strong baseball background from Painesville. He's hired then as our 7th grade coach. So just little coaching changes in that area. Track and softball started on Monday. Track has over 130 students out. 63 as of now, 65 are from Kimball. And softball, it's a little low on numbers. They have 31, 9 through 12. But it's kind of a little bit vague because we don't know who's going to be out for sure. There's driver training occurring this week yet, so there was only 1 freshman yesterday at practice, and we think there's we're gonna be okay there. Junior high softball, we only have 17, I'd really like that to be 22 or 24, so we can keep a 7th and an 8th grade team. I think that's just really important. And we've had that every year I've been here, but this year might be difficult to do that. The baseball and golf will start next week. I had mentioned our golf students are gonna go to St. John's. They have a new golf simulator and practice area that's state-of-the-art, best in Minnesota. So our students are gonna rent that on Tuesday and Thursday. Next week, get that opportunity. So it's just a unique opportunity that they get to use something that's college level, and should be a great experience for them, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Track your highest number then, of all of our sports?
Yeah, and that number is boys and girls, so, it's a little comparing apples to oranges a little bit, but yeah, our spring sports are always fabulous numbers. We usually have the highest percentage of students out for spring sports. Trap shooting has 45, so that's going strong as well. And let's see, Monday night we had the CMC weight training competition. So our students competed against the conference schools in 2 events, bench press and hang clean. We took 21 students over there, so I was really excited. We had 21. For instance, BBE had 2 students. They brought, Eden Valley brought 14 boys. They did not have any girls. So we had 11 boys, 10 girls. We've only 6 of the schools came. Painesville and Maple Lake did not come, and we finished 5 out of 6 that were there. So but I was just really proud that we had so many students there. That was great, and they got to see, what other students are doing and how strong other students are versus us. So I think it'll be a great event. I think it was a really good idea that they had. There were over 100 students there, so we have a traveling trophy. Howard Lake won, so they get this trophy in the trophy case. It'll travel, so I think that was kind of fun. The last thing I have is I'm just kind of looking at working with the Booster Club, creating a list of wish list, so to speak, of facility improvements that we have. Just for your information, we purchased another batting cage, so I just took that out of our letter winners account. We purchased another batting cage. We are buying junior high uniforms for softball. I really believe that it's important to, instead of hand-me-downs that we've always had, to give our students new uniforms, junior high students, because I think it's going to get more of those students out. The previous year we bought baseball. This fall we did junior high volleyball, and now we're going to do junior high softball, and junior high football is my goal for next fall. If I can raise enough money this summer, that's going to be a little more expensive. But I don't want expensive or fancy uniforms. Just nice to have something new that fits instead of something that's old and worn out. I just think that's the key to creating numbers of students staying out. It's just so demoralizing and go for sport and wear something that's 15, 20 years old and doesn't fit and stretched out. So yeah, that's just some of the things that we're spending money in our letter winners, and most of that money is generated from our concession stand sales. Questions for me?
How do the kids respond to a weightlifting contest? Because that's a whole different atmosphere, and you start at a particular weight, you can't go down if you can't lift it, and all that kind of stuff.
Learning experience.
Some start a little high.
Some of them started too low.
Oh, too low.
Like my daughter, she started too low, and she's like, "Oh, my 3rd one," and she wasn't anywhere near where she should have been. Well, then she tried a weight that was too heavy and didn't get it. So. And a lot of our students did the same. They just, it was eye opening. I think it was eye opening for them to see maybe how they have to work a little harder. But it was good. It was a good event. Yeah. Anything else you have for me? Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Byron.
You want these copies, Byron?
Okay, scores.
Does anybody else want to look at these?
You got a staff power lift up, or not?
Maybe we should. Thanks, Gary's on my team.
All right, on to item 4, celebration and success of students and staff. Byron kicked it off pretty well with recap of the winter sports and recognizing Jerry for accomplishment for first 21 season with his team.
Is it Mr. Bozier's knowledge bowl team that's on there?
Yes, ma'am.
Alumnus, Mike Schultz got a bronze at the World Cup in snowboarding this past weekend.
Awesome.
In Pyeongchang, Korea.
That's snowboarding team.
Okay, any other items? Okay, on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Tim and a second by Brian. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On to the reports. Ms. Johnson.
Alright, so starting off, we've had a lot of tours and new students that have arrived in our building just in the last few weeks, so that's exciting. We've had inquiries usually this time, but, we had a little influx of some new students, like I said, actually coming right now this spring. And then, actual filled out paperwork for next year, so, and tours being given. So it's been a busy last few weeks, which is exciting, because we're continuing to grow, so really happy to hear that. I like doing those tours, they're fun. 97% of parents attended February conferences. I want a shout out, I could have done it before, I guess, but it's kind of a lot of people. Just a thank you to the I Love to Read committee at the elementary school. They had so many fun reading activities throughout the month of February. A special thank you to Whitney Hunt. She put a lot of time, heart, sweat, and tears into her second year of her read camp. Can't Read Some More. She did 2 nights this year because last year it was so many kids showed up. She split it into the littler kids and then the older students. So she can't say enough about her hard work with that. Again, a huge success. Thank you to Mr. Wagner and Mr. Brennan. They were guest readers for our event, so the kids loved that. So that was fun.
They love the scariness.
They do.
Is that a reach? Being sarcastic. I saw the fear in their eyes when I worked on it.
Theirs?
No comment.
Sickness is hitting hard at our building right now, students and staff, just every day, there's just something new and lots of kids gone, so we're just trying to get everybody healthy and wiping everything down, just doesn't seem to do it, but we just, every day there's something, and there's flu to strep to you name it, we have it, so enter at your own risk. And then really gearing up for MCAs right now. So the 3rd through 5th, we're really hitting it hard preparing. We prepare all year. I don't wanna say that we just focus these, few months up to that. We prepare them all year, but they're really hitting them hard right now, getting them ready. K through 2 again is planning on doing, cards and assembly and celebrating and cheering them on throughout the weeks that we do our testing. So that's exciting for them because they're excited for the older kids, and to help them out. So right now our focus is, and Eric and I getting coordinated with all of the tidbits that they make us do. So we're just trying to get that all figured out. So that's kind of where we're at the elementary. And, Tim was at our PI meeting, so I'm gonna let him kind of show some info there. And any questions that you guys might have?
When you guys give tours, what are some common questions parents ask?
Class size. That's their first question out of every single person I have given a tour. What are your class sizes? They're looking for smaller class sizes. That's very important to them.
They consider, when you ask them, when you tell them what your class sizes are, do they consider that
Good?
Is that a selling
They
point?
are so happy. They are like, are you kidding me? Really? And yes, it's a priority. You know, I let them know the board that is a priority. You know, 24 I consider is low, and some of our classes are 20, 22. You know, they're just like, because they're sitting, a lot of them at 29, 28, you know, in the elementary and a lot of schools are that way. So when they hear that, they're right away just like, that's great. And then we go take a look and they see it. It's nice to actually see it, because we walk into a room of 18, 20 kids. I mean, you're not packed to the walls like other schools that you go to. That gets them excited. Technology, they're excited about the technology that's available to our small school. They are shocked at all the technology that we do have available to them. Gosh, I'm trying to think, the other one that I always think of is they always ask about class size is always that one. Yep. They are interested in community ed activities outside for the littler ones, so that's another thing. So it was nice to have that flyer. I was trying to thank Kathy Olson for Phillips for doing that, because it was nice to hand that to a family yesterday that got a tour so they could see all the summer activities, because they just moved to Kimball, so they want to get their kids involved this summer. What can they get involved in? So they're always asking about community ed. What else can our kids be doing after school care and before school care? So Clubs Club for our age, they do ask that question too, because most parents are both working, so that's a big deal. Preschool is always a surprise, when I take them down in the hallway where preschool is found. They're excited to hear that it's in the building, and a lot of them then I just send them to Lisa Hennon, because they have the little ones. So they like the way that it's incorporated into the building, and we're all kind of all in one, so. The class size is definitely the number one question.
So do we send them home with any type of literature?
Yeah, we have a folder put together at the elementary for them, so we give them the folder full of all kinds of things that we've put together.
I assume like the community ed flyer is
Yep,
all in that
community ed
folder and all
flyer,
that stuff.
yep, and then the new pack, like the summer packets now in there for the ones that are coming now. Pie information, school supply list, all that kind of stuff is all on there, the calendar, the website information, so how to get to the website, where to go to, all that stuff, so. Yeah. So I can go in and look.
I figured you did.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, that's it.
Any other questions, Ms. Johnson? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Whitby?
Alright, so, we'll start with, ACT numbers. We were at 41, registered for ACT as our last school. We were actually up to 43 now. We'll be testing over at Church of Christ, on April 19th. Test will start at 9 o'clock, and then approximately 1:30, and then, we're gonna cut the juniors loose at that time and then send them home. Typically, by the time that 1:30 time rolls around, they're pretty mentally done. I mean, it's a long day, it's mentally taxing, so, they'll be able to head out and head home and get some rest and get ready for, maybe activities after school for those that have athletes and activities.
It's volunteer, how many is it?
54 in the class, so only 11 not take it. Tim?
Do we have an alternative arrangement made, the days or otherwise, for those
Yes.
that cannot make it
Makeup,
that day,
yep,
right?
yep, the robotics guys talked to me already about it, there is a makeup day, it's May, what is it? I don't remember the date off the top of my head, it's May 10th, May 11th,
Thank you.
yeah, but there's a date that, and I've already talked to those that'll be in the impact water down at, Nationals.
Thank you.
Yep. Just to give you some senior class updates, on that April 19th day, the juniors are taking the ACT test. The senior class will be going down to Champlain Park, to Cat Food. It's their day of service, it's something we've been doing now in our third year. So Mr. Bozer, Mrs. Bonfield, and others will be chaperoning them down there. I believe it's Feed My Starving Children is the organization that they actually work for. And, they put in about 4 hours of doing that, they get a chance to stop and have some lunch. And it's a fun day for them, kind of kicks off that last month of their senior year, and gets them through that. We're looking at May third as, senior night at the Twins game. We've been doing that the past 10 years. This will be year 11 for us. When I informally polled the kids at the last, senior class meeting a couple weeks ago, we had 41 or 42 seniors that indicated they wanted to go to that. Again, it's a fun night. We go down, we watch the Twins. It'll be against Oakland this year, 7:10 start. We get our own section. The Twins are great to us. They put us up on the big board and congratulate the Kimball graduating seniors. Then we get a chance to eat some food, and rub elbows and hang out, and then we're usually home by 11:30, although last year was, I think, closer to 12:30, quarter to 1. So it gets to be a short night for the principal, but it's a fun night to spend with those kids. They really enjoy it. Again, it's kind of letting them have that last month as it goes along to get to spend some more time together, to become closer, and not that they aren't already.
One day I cheer you.
I know. I'm really glad you're interested. It's good to know you care about it. That's fantastic. And like I said before, thank you for approving the letter. Early out, they've done a really nice job this year, and they're very aware that if things go off the rails, there are consequences that will apply to the senior class in general. So, other than that, like Carrie said, I'm spending the majority of my time now working towards MCA testing. We have to make sure both building staffs are trained and go through testing training modules on the Pearson Access Next website. I think we're both assuming, right or wrong, we'll probably have an MDE monitor out this year for testing because of our increase in our student proficiency last year. Not that we did anything wrong, but we had a really large increase because our kids worked really hard at it. And so I think we're anticipating that might happen. And that's fine. They'll come out and they'll check to make sure that all of our non-disclosure agreements are signed by staff. Make sure there's no security breaches, which is why we have to do the test monitor training with not only certified teaching staff, but with our parents as well. Anybody that's gonna be in a room where a kid is testing on a computer and paper. We are going to keep tests and sessions down to an hour again this year. We're gonna test over the course of 4 days, like we did last year. We don't want kids sitting in those seats any longer than they have to. We think we have a bigger bang for our buck last year going shorter sessions. We'll also, at the high school, using Chromebooks again in the classrooms versus going into the computer labs. Studies have shown that if you test in a setting where you normally would test, that you're usually looking at a larger number of kids being successful during those testing periods. So that's pretty much it. That'll be us for about the next month and a half. It's gonna be nothing but MCA all day, every day. So, and then our results, preliminary results for you hopefully by midnight. People are working hard, staff's working hard. I know Dr. Tad Mortensen, who runs our reading lab. In years past, we haven't exited students out of there because we've been continuing to work with them. She actually exited 3 students this year because they showed such tremendous growth and grew by about 2 or 3 different grade levels from where we started the year. So again, working hard and trying to get those kids prepared and ready to go for when they're on. High school's youth incentives again. We're going to run out to our 7th to 12th graders. No finals if the class tests high enough as a group, and we receive enough proficiency scores. I've got 7th graders so far. They were definitely, after their first round of finals, very happy with that. They were pretty excited. I'm assuming our 8th graders and our 10th graders and juniors would be as well. 9th graders don't test this year. There's no 9th graders with standardized testing. So it'll go quick. It'll go by very, very quick. So that's all I have. Questions for me?
So with testing being spread out over 4 days now, how do we adjust class schedules?
We really don't. Everybody else will stay on schedule as needed. We try to make sure that we only impact one class during that 1 hour. So let's say we're testing 7th grade math. That teacher with that first hour will give up those 4 days, but then it'll rotate to somebody that next week if they're doing 7th grade reading. So we're trying to make minimal disruptions to the class schedule as much as we can. You can't do it with everybody, and of course my staff is shared across 7 and 12. So but we're trying to spread out as much as possible so they have access. If they don't have access to the kids 1 week, they'll have it next week.
So how does it impact our kids that are participating in advanced classes?
It doesn't.
Because workloads aren't gonna change. I'm thinking in the brought to my attention by a student that I'm gonna miss 4 days of a college class, and my instructors told me that nothing's changing in my schedule, that week. All the information is to be presented.
It's a great question, because we tried telling all our staff to cut down all tests that week. So if we have seventh graders testing that week, I don't want them to take exams in any other seventh grade classes. I want their focus squarely on that MCA exam.
Right.
Cause otherwise, there's too much going on, so, my guess is it's gotta be the college math class, probably the college algebra.
Actually, it was biology.
Biology, yeah. And knowing Ms. Damon and how she used the exams, my guess is it won't impact them at all. She'll back it off, and like I said before, we've told staff that not do any testing at all those weeks those kids are taking those exams. It's just too much to prepare for, and we need to focus entirely on that MCA.
So you'll just follow up with her then, make sure that's.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other questions for Mr. Wagner? Sorry, Mr. Whitney? Sorry,
They look a lot
sorry,
alike.
I'm not sure
sorry,
what more insult
sorry,
there are.
Eric.
Maybe it was-
Sorry, Eric.
It was the tear towel.
Yeah.
I will apologize to Eric, but you two can duke it out.
Oh.
Thanks. She wants me to lift off, right?
Yeah.
Can I go home now?
Sorry, Mr. Wagner.
Alright, a few things. I had a meeting, regional meeting today. If you have any possibility of having connection with the legislatures, please contact them about equalization. Brad Lindell is the guy's name that runs the CE group that we're a member of, and so he had talked about the referendum and debt service equalization bill data run, and under its current proposal, if the legislatures pass the equalization bill, Kimball would stand to gain in the first year, we would stand to gain $57,092 towards our general fund, and then, in the second year, we'd stand to gain $67,426. And essentially what that is the equalization of the old building bond from the 2000 building as far as what the tax impact is, on the farmland. So part of the equalization dollars is to get us more equal with what the Twin Cities schools get, but also to give the farmers some tax relief on building bonds with public schools simply because of the inequities within the tax bill. There's 44 different formulas right now within the tax bill, and it's just a mess, trying to figure out, get it to be more equal, so that way we get fair dollars, as like Minneapolis schools get, or your Wayzata schools, and that type of thing, cause there's 3 different tiers of taxation from a simplistic side of it, and trying to make sure that we, get the fair share as far as what everybody else gets. So, if you have any connections, please talk to them, get them to pass that, it's kind of critical, a huge thing for us.
Can we invite them here to explain their position on things?
We can. I've had trouble getting them here. You know, some of the things I've had contacts, I've sent emails, I've
Yeah.
emailed, Jeff Howe,
Yeah.
Michelle Fishbach, don't get any responses back. You know, it's hard because we wanna try to obviously have that relationship and talk about it, and make sure we get clear information, but I don't know, you know, I'm scheduled to go down on, I think it was March 29th. There's a group of superintendents going down and having scheduled meetings with them as well, so I wanna be face to face with them, and, you know, if we gotta put them in a headlock, I'll do that too, but, get some results out of them as far as what we're looking for, what we need. They need to listen to us one way or the other, so.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that's kind of the plan right now, trying to get that stuff maximized so we can get some progress on that, so. But it is frustrating with this whole, you know, politics this year is just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of gone all over the place, and so beyond the politics, it's just the job done, what we need to get done, and take care of, so that's kind of my message to them, what we need, so. We've been doing walkthroughs, reason I put this on there, I think it's important to note, I had an opportunity, doing the high school tomorrow, but I did a walkthrough with the elementary, and had a chance to talk to Mrs. Johnson on this, and it was very unique, because I could say it for the first time, with going into 4 different classrooms, gave me the opportunity to work, you know, a lot of the teachers have done a phenomenal job, but it was just something when I walked out of these 4 classrooms all in a row, was just something like, I was like, I really don't need to be here, cause they're rock stars, you know, and so, without embarrassing the teachers that I, went through was, Mrs. Hunt, Mrs. Hennon, Mr. Brand, and Ms. Barrett. Phenomenal teachers. I talked to Ms. Johnson on them, it was just, kids were learning, you could feel the brain power, kids were having fun, their ability to interact with kids, and these are all new, teachers, and so, you know, kudos to Ms. Johnson and Mr. Woodby with going through the process of picking good teachers out to be in their classrooms, and it's one of those things where, you know, you do the comparison like with a doctor, you want an experienced doctor, you want a new doctor operating on you, well, after watching these four, there were doctors that become cool with them operating, because it's one of those things where they were just rock stars with what they did and what they're doing with their students, and so it was, a lot of fun to watch, so, just something to know. All the pictures of you guys are actually on the website, so if you hadn't had a chance on the website, just so you know, Brian,
Said I haven't done.
you're on the website now, your picture's on the website, so in case you're wondering, with the exception of Tom, I got Tom's picture, yesterday or
Better
the
not
day
be my
before.
1988.
So, I don't know if I should tell you how I got the picture,
Secrets.
but, I got the pictures on there, and
I'm
so.
very worried right now. Very worried.
You should be.
So, this is what it looks like now on the website.
Oh, it's not bad. Where's that from?
I can't indulge my sources, I didn't hack in anything, but, I did get the picture, so I got Mr. Schreiner's picture, a day or two ago, so we'll have that up there hopefully by the end of the week. But again, I think that just the overall layout, how it looks, it gives it a nice look to the website and personalizes it, so I think it gives people an opportunity, you know, get to know who you guys are, what committees you're on, and, be able to have that communication with you, that type of thing, so. So, just so you know, it's on there, for better or for worse, it's there, so.
Looks nice.
Alright, the proposal of, Mr. Fox on the buildings, so I'll kind of give you an update. We talked about possibly wrapping it around the backside, there's just too many variables and problems with that. And so with that, over here, video, so basically what we're just gonna do is stick to just the, west side of the gymnasium. Initially, when Ben and I had talked about is having it all the way up to the egg building, but that poses problems with this exit right here. This exit has to be open to an open area, and so we can't mess with that just because of code. So what we can do though is, because this isn't a primary exit according to code, however that works, talking to the engineer, but the architect, if we just slide it to match the dimensions of the gymnasium from here to here, it's 4,700 square feet. Because it's below 12,000 square feet and wouldn't have a capacity over 300 people, we can actually have it built, and this would just empty into here, and then there would be an exit on the south side, and then an exit on the west side, which would meet code and for what it needs as far as location wise. And then, because it's below 12,000 square feet and less than 300 people, we wouldn't need a sprinkler system in here, because it's already a combustible compression material, so it's not flammable, and also wouldn't mess with this drain pipe that's on the roof over here. So it'd just be a matter of putting it up over here. I've talked with a couple members of the Wrestling Booster Club. They know that they can get, in their words, they feel they can get the funding and the labor donated to be able to get this all put in, as far as the footings and the cement work, and then for Mr. Fox and his company to put it in once the footings are down and that type of thing. So we're just kind of getting that stuff looked at, worked out, so we're not waiting. Should look pretty nice. Mr. Fox is working on seeing if he can get a big cups on the back side of it, so when you're driving up on 55 coming from the west, you'll see cups on it. We haven't talked about color yet. We could probably have the color to match the gym, or the color of the brick, or have it white so the cups pops out as well. So we'll have more discussion on that once we get closer to finalizing everything else and, that type of thing, so.
What kind of a time frame are you guys?
The idea is that once we get everything going and figure it out, we start getting it put in the summer.
You said it would be 1,200 square feet?
No, 12, it has to be less than 12,000 square feet for the for those codes. If it's above 12,000 square feet and can hold more than 300 people, you have to have a sprinkler system in it in order to be code.
So you don't have a size on that yet?
4,700,
It's
4,733 square feet.
47.
And realistically, like I've seen wrestling mats in our high school gym. What kind of size are we talking about?
Basically, what we want to do is have it big enough to fit 2 full-size mats down in it,
Consecutively or this way? This way? You know what I mean?
from one end to the other.
No.
And then obviously, when it's not wrestling season, and if you give us also some space for like the baseball and softball teams to have the cage, the batting cages in there, so that way we can still free up gym space to maximize all the activities we have going on right now. So it's busy, especially with the weather.
How much flooring is gonna be in it?
It's just gonna be concrete right now, we just have to figure out, what we need as far as to put the mats on, because the mats on top of concrete is not a good combination. As far as mold and that type of thing, so we gotta figure out what that barrier has to look like, and also the HVAC system for air conditioning and for heating. The nice thing at 4,700 square feet, it doesn't have to be a elaborate HVAC system, that type of thing, so.
So as far as dollars, we have a plan to make this happen?
It's a lot of fundraising. That's what it's gonna be. I mean, the school, we can afford to do the electrical, all that kind of stuff, but the Booster Club is looking at, talking to, Jerry Spode, and he's got connections with the concrete and with electrical, all that kind of stuff to figure out how to get that in and get that donated. So, it's definitely more reality now than it was a month ago.
Thanks in advance to all those behind the scenes that are working on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussions going on, and like with Mr. Fox and the architect, and making sure that we follow code and meet code and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing the different codes you have to meet and all that kind of stuff. It's like a full-time job trying to learn all those. Okay. Press box, our budget's coming in low or lower than we had anticipated on the track, so we should have enough funds. Hopefully, it looks very likely we'll have enough funds to be able to redo the press box. Met with Doug Stengel, he's gonna get the press box to come in under $50,000. It's gonna be right around that, to get that thing up to code, and to get it so it's a new concession area as well. It's not gonna have, what do you call it up top, the crow's nest, that can't be up there anymore as far as being code, because it adds another $20,000 for cost and that type of thing. So it'll be a 2-level, press box, seating 9 across the front, it'll be all windows in the front, and then, concession will be down below, the storage area as well, and so, getting that going. And the idea is to start that just after the track meet, end of April, and he needs 2 weeks, so I wanna say it was April 23rd. And then the next track meet, home track meet, is gonna be May 11th, so he needs 2 weeks to get it done. So the idea is to get it done between those 2 track meets, so then that way it's ready for the big mega meet that we have on, the Friday before the fishing opener. So that way when all the big schools come into town for our track meet, we get to see what our facility looks like, complete it, and that type of thing, so.
What's that extra weekend, other than the weekend before fishing?
Is it-
Is the track meet? The whole weekend? Saturday? Or is it on?
I have no idea I'm not know what the fishing opener is. I just thought,
I don't care about fishing number, I just wanna know the date.
track meet's on Friday before, so it must be the 12th then.
Another day, 14th.
So it must be the 12th.
April 11th, invitational.
That's the first one.
That's the first one, yeah. So there's one.
No, actually, it's April 17th.
Yeah, it's in-
April 17th.
Okay.
Push that health and safety meeting, because there's no school or anything on April 17th, so we really have a track meet on the day we normally have in school. So that is right.
That's right. May 13th, okay, yeah, so the track meet will be May 12th, so Doug would have it done. He might not have the siding on it, but he'd have it done so we can use it by May 11th. That type of thing, so he's just finalizing some steel, instead of doing steel siding, stick with the vinyl, because if the steel siding is bent due to footballs or baseballs hitting it and whatnot, it's more expensive to replace than the vinyl. siding. He's changing out a different type of steel up on top. They had a high-end steel, we don't need that high-end steel for it to still be cold up on the top of it, and so, he felt that he should be able to be in under $50,000, so. And then that can all be tied into the track project, that type of thing, to have it done. So it'll be pretty nice. So the entrance will be on the north side instead of on the, east side. And you just basically walk in, you go upstairs, and then take a left, you go to the concession, or right, you go to the storage area that will be there. Okay?
Just a question with that stuff, we don't put it out for bid, I mean, do we just go to one person versus putting it out for bid to see who has given us the best?
You have to, if it's above $100,000, I didn't necessarily put it out for bid because there's a level of quality that I expect, and so I worked with Doug before in the past, and I know what quality he brings to the table, and so I didn't, knowing what, it wasn't gonna be above $100,000. Other questions on that? Okay. We got approval from, as you saw in the email I sent you, from MDE on our calendar starts. We will be starting the Monday before Labor Day. I don't know the date, didn't write the date down, but it's like, August 28th, okay, so that'll be our first day of school. It's approved by, Commissioner herself, she sent a personalized letter to us, so if you wanna see the personal letter, show it to you. She's very proud of our test scores and looks forward to seeing how we can do it again and that type of thing, so. I'll give her credit. The fact that she acknowledged us and put that all in there and whatnot, indicate that she, and she does personalized stuff, so to her credit, I was impressed that she wrote the letter the way she did, that type of thing, so, they are watching us, even in MDE, they know what Kimball, so, it's kind of exciting to know that they don't ask where you're from again, type of thing, they know we're Kimball, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that letter doesn't say SOD,
Exactly.
so.
It's nice getting these kind of letters from MDE, so. And then the last thing that I got is, we had Paw Patrol show up at the elementary building. So you can see the Paw, I don't know if you guys know who the Paw Patrol is and all that kind of stuff, so the Marshall visited us from Paw Patrol. And kids, what was the program again? It was for the breakfast for the food service.
Breakfast week.
Breakfast. Oh, yeah. So they custom made some cereal boxes, and the kids that did the best, they got picked to have their picture taken with Marshall from the Paw Patrol. Just a lot of picture.
Oh, I have some good ones. I have them right here.
Other than that, that's all I got. Any questions?
Scared to death of preschool.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Wagner.
Yep.
Benton Stearns, we met today, short meeting of only 30 minutes. Couple first reads on policies regarding school weapons and student discipline, so those will be on for approval next month. Second readings for equal employment opportunity, harassment, student sex discrimination, policy investments. Getting ready to just start their negotiations with staff up there as well, so there's one additional member that volunteered to take on the negotiation portion today. And then Alicia reported that they're getting ready to start to do their staff training, some additional staff professional development training on a grant that they received. We got about 55 folks signed up for that. All member districts, staff from member districts are reporting. They've also started a wellness activity initiative at Benton Stearns as well, very similar to what we have here, where they got the Fitbit and we've got some events tied to that to get their staff up and moving around. Sent out a list of acronyms, 14 pages worth of acronyms that are tied to the special ed field. I was quite shocked at what all it encompassed, to be honest. And then the last day, our Alicia, the executive director, will be attending May State down at the Capitol March 2nd. guess the last thing, probably the biggest improvement over at the Voyager facility in Sauk Rapids is, they wrote a grant. Last fall, we got flagged during a routine health inspection for some, equipment violations for, the sink in the kitchen area. It's not a full utility sink, it's not that they're serving food in there on a daily basis, they do that through contract service. But they had an opportunity, to write a grant, they were awarded the grant for $13,085.01. So they're gonna move forward with replacing it, and now they'll have a fully functional facility there, and for future reference if they decide to, start serving, so. And that's it for VSED. Questions or comments? Okay, pie update, Mr. Zipoy?
Okay, thank you. Had a chance to go on 13th to Monday to the Pie meeting there, and just to start off with, you know, hats off and kudos to that great group and the profound value of what they do, whether it's technology or other student resources. It's a great group. I listened to them struggle a little bit as far as like members and worker bees, and conversation that you would have in any group of service people, yeah? That we need more members and things like that. And hats off to elementary principal who's gonna put out an email that would encourage people to consider joining the PIE group. Then their agenda included a financial review. Their position is real stable, real strong, and boy, they put the money that they earned, they plow it right back in, I'll just say. They recapped a book fair. Their sales were down just a little bit, but still successful in a book fair. They ordered some reward school car claims. They do a used book sale, and they sold what they were gonna sell, and they figured what to do with the leftover books that they have, and they give those to the 4-H group. They are doing a spring raffle, selling over the Easter time period, gonna draw in May, and they are sure happy to receive a family pass from the district, a family activity pass that they find real valuable in their work to raise funds, and I sure say good ROI for the school to put that up, whether it's, you know, in concessions or otherwise. It's you know, they just put a lot of effort and bring a lot of value to the school. They talked about the AR store, the way that they reward their young readers and through an advanced reading program. And there was a little separation anxiety I felt from the group as far as the sixth graders don't want to do AR anymore kind of thing. And so they bolted those feathers and flying on reading in a different way as far as AR goes. They were happy to have the opportunity to come to the school board. They asked me what I thought, and I certainly thank them for being there and encourage them to come again. It's exciting to hear about their projects and their accomplishments and what it is that we can help do together. They discussed an iPad distribution plan, and boy, to me, that sure is a big piece of work that they've done. The number, Carrie, do you know the number of iPads that this group has brought to the table? I don't know, but it's a lot.
Well,
and when you talk
20 new ones are coming,
Yeah.
but they have donated, I would say close to 50 iPads.
Yeah.
There were more before I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you talk about people coming to kick the tires at Kimball and they see some of the you know, I'm just real proud of this group because we know that some of the technology that prospects see is a result of this group's efforts too, along with what we invest, but it's impressive. They are doing outreach at a Kimball, kindergarten, a roundup, trying to do outreach to gain new members there, and they were moderately successful at that too. Then, that was kind of it. They talked about they do an MCA breakfast. I didn't exactly understand what that was, but they must bring some kind of, you know, food or fuel or something for the students at the elementary and the MCA days. And it's that group that's behind that too.
They provide, when it was the old way of doing it, 2 days, they would do a breakfast for all students that were taking the test those 2 days. But because we spread them out now, they allotted so much money per teacher to go buy healthy snacks to have throughout the testing period. So, yeah, they give so much, so very appreciative.
Yeah.
They just donated $2,400 from the Scholastic Book Fair money to the library
So then as it relates to they're trying to reach out and develop their membership, Mr. Wagner, I'll just own the fact that I've always said, well, why don't you consider joining the Kimball School Booth at the upcoming expo? And I think they may do that. So I hope that's okay, and if not, I apologize, we'll have to work it out.
Someone's coming, so.
Yeah.
The
So,
more the merrier.
great group doing great things, and I
She's
just wanna give kudos to Principal Johnson for being there too. I know that it's meaningful to that group to have you there, so thank you for being
Yes,
there. Yeah.
absolutely. They're a
That's what
big
I
part
have.
of our school, so.
That's
Did
it.
their enrollment increase at all?
We don't have like official enrollment, but
Well, I
we
mean,
did
but
have.
is there a group to take this over as being those three moms are
No.
leaving
No.
after this year? I mean,
No.
we're kind of in crunch time to.
That's why an invitation is going out, kind of also another form of email's gonna go out through JMC, kind of listing all the things that they do for our school. And we do need some, now's the time to step forward, otherwise this may go away. You know, we need some people to help and sustain this, and, so there's some different things that we're gonna do to try and recruit.
My other question
That
was,
was kindergarten parent that just stepped up and attended the meeting, that was her first
Yeah.
meeting last night, so that was really cool, cause she's excited to help out. Yeah.
it doesn't have to be parents, that was my question I asked Pi. I mean, does it have to be active parents of elementary kids right now, or can it just, I mean,
That's a good
we've got
question.
retired daycare providers in the community that maybe would, or, you know, that could, grandparents that maybe have a little bit more time on their hands that would be willing to volunteer to help do this?
I think we brought that back to Pi, which I can do at the next meeting, like, we talked about, we kind of make it look the way you need to make it look at that time.
Right,
So
right.
they changed how Pi looked compared to when they came in, so, you know, if we come to that, that's a great idea to reach out to. I'm sure there are people that would be willing to help. We'd like to get the parents because we want them more involved in the kids' education and what we're doing in the schools, but the grandparents would be great. Their parents, their
Grandma
parents
Gwen,
too.
some of those volunteers, we have our great assets of the school that are still willing to give back to the kids, but
Is there any cell that you can do with the teachers to directly ask some parents? Because if you, as in anything, you're trying to get volunteers, a mass email, and you're like, oh, too busy, not gonna do it. But if somebody specifically comes to you and says, we could really use your help, I really have a hard time saying no, and so you can get a lot more people that way.
Yeah, actually, we
Other than
talked at
just
the
a message.
meeting and I had mentioned.
Nope.
I heard
she's
it.
working on
Second.
all parties first.
I did talk about it at the meeting too, I sent an email out to teachers, letting them know to ask at least 2 parents, because they know the parents that probably could do it, or might be interested in, or would be good at it, so I'm asking for at least 2, personal invites, for each of the teachers. We'll see where that goes, you know, everybody's, we do, we have one now.
Oh, nice.
We
The
do.
president
We just
for
like
years
to
was a guy.
Was it?
Dave Hunt was up there for a while.
What?
We're very
Dave Hunt
proud
was
of
for a
that.
while, wasn't he?
Did hear you.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yes.
Yeah, he was for several years.
So yes, we do have.
Sean
one
sounds like
gentleman.
it's right up your alley.
You don't have to come every meeting. Actually, you know, and that's what we're trying to get across, you don't have to come to some don't come to the meetings, but they volunteer for, you know, the Scholastic Book Fair, or they do the labels, or they help make a meal for the teachers at, you know, conference time. But they never attended, and that's okay, we're okay with that, we just need a core group of people that can organize that. So we're trying to get that across to, like, it's not a scary thing that you have to be there.
Well, it seems like a heck of a time commitment, and just from the first glance, I mean, for the amount of time that we have all the book fair and stuff, it just seems on the outside as a lot of time.
Right.
Maybe it's not, so.
Yeah, you can pick and choose, and during kindergarten roundup, we talked to the kindergarten parents about it, we had one of the current members talk. And we discussed how, if, you know, you wanna come to a meeting and check it out, great, you don't have to come to every meeting. You don't have to come to a meeting, we send out, if you're interested in help volunteering, you can be again, email us and Survey Monkey, or not Survey Monkey, but she sends out, okay, can you help at this, what time can you help? You know, you can pick and choose. So we have a lot of members that aren't at the meetings, but they're volunteering. But we are at a point where we have 3 core members leaving that organize it
Coordinate
all.
everything.
Yeah, that we need to find, so, yeah.
It will happen though, I was thinking afterward that meeting, it's important to say, yep, this could go away, but at the same time, to me, it was as important to say, stay the course, cause this is not new, I've been around that group long enough to know, I've seen the Schiefelbein, era go through there, they left and moved on, and the next group, and the next group, and the next group, the thing won't die, so you gotta
Right.
stay the course, and
Yeah.
do what you're doing, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about that.
No, I'm not either. I think when they realize that, oh, okay, you know, it's our turn to step up.
Yeah.
We'll have people step up. We have people, good people that
Yeah.
do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments regarding PI? Okay, Heather, health and safety.
Well, our agenda's rather slim compared to what you guys accomplished at health and safety anyway. We've been talking about the outdoor ground signage. I believe there's some more up at the elementary school, so looking at some at the high school.
It's all in, it just needs to be installed.
It's in, it needs to be, oh, yeah, it's here.
Yes, it's
It's
here,
here.
it's on site.
Signs are up, but it needs to
We've
be up.
received it.
Okay, and that's going, so I think,
That was
because
pretty
it's been on our
clear.
agenda the last 3 meetings, so I wonder, one of these days it will actually be up, so. We're getting there, I think. Parking lot lighting, we had on, last November's agenda as well, is that they were gonna call Excel and try and get some of the lights turned a little bit, so there's a little more lighting out there, which we think he made a phone call, and the lighting seems better, and we're hoping it's not just the snow on the ground, and it actually is better.
It appears better.
It appears better.
Those in front of the building, I don't think are better, except when there's snow on the ground. Those are better.
What happened, they're on.
They're on, if they point to the ground rather than, are they supposed to be pointing at the ground, or are they supposed to be pointing at the ground?
That's the way they're designed.
Yeah.
It's to point at the ground. We talked about shop concerns, the guards are now on, and there's still some concern with the dust that you can explain what you were talking about, some system back, something or other.
Well, we upgraded our welding station down there, did about a $60,000 upgrade, tore the whole old system out, installed brand new. Our current dust collection system on the wood side of things, and Sean can probably talk to this too, just doesn't quite meet what we're looking for yet. We still have the old dust bag collectors, the bags are inside the shop itself, and where the ductwork comes outside to the actual collector itself, rather than getting smaller as it goes in there, it actually goes into a larger pipe that goes through the wall out there, so it, you know anything about moving air, smaller to bigger doesn't make it suck more, it makes it suck less. Terrible way to put it, I guess, but that's, yeah, there it is. So we know that there needs to be an upgrade in that area. We had the group out that helped us with our welding area upgrade. They looked at that as well for us. It's a pretty pricey fix to get that done, because when we redo that duct work, we have to have it sprinkled. There has to be a sprinkler system in there because it's combustible, which is, you can imagine, a very large upgrade in terms of cost. But it's something that we're aware of. It's something that, as budgets allow, we'll try to fix when we're able. You know, we've certainly made a large scale effort to improve our construction trades area, and that's one that needs a big upgrade.
Yeah, we talked about, something big on, so our emergency response team, now we have one, right, that's part of our wellness thing that did, so how did it, we also discussed that we had a finger incident, in the shop area, it's been first one in ever here, probably, so we did very well with that. So, but I was curious now, how did our emergency response team work? There was our first crisis situation, did it work?
Did.
Did that work? How
It did, no,
how'd it go?
student was walked down by another student. A call was made down in the office, nurse was on site, secretary has received him as he walked in the room, took him back in the nurse's office. Parent was called, well, the parent was on their way in to pick up the child. Nurse and secretaries are working to secure the finger, bandaged up. basically wrapped it all up, and by that time mom was there, sent them straight to St. Cloud, so it worked very, very well.
It's really, we talked about, reconnecting with Pi about possibly an additional chain fence around the parking area by the elementary playground. So I think we're gonna revisit that one later this evening.
Took the cable down those up, so we don't get hit in the neck or anything like that, so when they're running after the balls, don't get hurt from that thing.
That's it. If anybody has any other agenda items that you would like to bring up, health and safety by all means.
Did we finally get parts for our sink in the men's room?
I don't know, didn't come up the conversation.
Cause the last time I was in there, there was an out of order sign on it,
Yeah.
so.
I know the order went through, but I'm not sure where it's at beyond that, so.
Okay, anything else for health and safety? Okay, on to business. 7.1 is review and approval of achievement and integration plan budget for fiscal year 18.
Essentially, this budget is, we're next to a racially, isolated district being St. Cloud, and so the state has funds that they allocate for us to be able to bridge the gap, giving kids exposure to a district like that, and so we use those funds to, between staff development, professional development, getting kids together, expose them to different cultures, that type of thing, and so this, report, or this proposal is very similar to the world's best workforce. We tied it to our goals, and part of what we're gonna be doing with this, I'll do an exchange with teachers, so we'll take our teachers, when I say teachers, meaning 2, 3, or 4 of them, send them to a different school so they can watch, observe, see things going on there, vice versa, that school would send them here from St. Cloud, so they can kind of see the differences and maybe get some angle that they can use, what they can, develop for instruction in the classroom, so in that way, it has a direct correlation to what kids are learning, how they're learning, and how we can bridge those gaps for them. We also do the Frontiers? Youth Frontiers retreat with, Tech and also South Junior High, and so those kids come here, we intermix with our kids and their kids to kind of create an atmosphere so they can talk with them, learn about the culture and have that relationship to see, to bridge the gaps and eliminate the stereotypes that might be out there, or things that they hear, and to help St. Cloud being a racially isolated, school district and that type of thing. So this looks very similar to our world's best workforce, plan that we approved, I think, a couple months ago, and so just be a matter of approving us to utilize these dollars and funds for the staff, or professional development, and to continue the Youth Frontiers program, and to do the staff exchange, so that way we can get the benefit of our staff seeing, I think it's great for them to see what it looks like in the different district, as well as the different district coming here to see what ours looks like, Quite honestly, selfishly, like we celebrated this year, so we want to come here instead, so. I'll be honest, that's kind of my motivation for proposing it, so.
I know when I sat on this committee, and something that came up with this as well that I just want to keep on our agenda is, some of this has to do with the free and reduced lunch population.
Correct.
As well, and, that group also asked about how can we require everyone to fill out the application, because there could be population out there that we're missing because they're not filling out or applying or
Yep.
whatever, and can we as a school board require everyone to fill it out, and how does that look? And I know we've had that discussion as a board, so I just don't want that to die as we're coming to a new school year, and figure out maybe a way that we can get that accomplished, so we can really see where we're at.
And also big thanks to Joan and Nancy Bonfield for the work on this. The two of them really do yeoman's work on putting this together, so I don't wanna forget that. Thank you. Thanks, Nancy.
Any other questions? If none, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
7.2 is accept the resignation received from Tracy Nelson, Ag Ed instructor.
Can we talk about this a little bit, is the plan still looking positive that we would possibly have two positions next year?
It's possible.
That's why I was surprised when I read it here, going for main digs or whatever, was that, the possibility of having two instructors, is an issue we need to see. I thought it was possible, so.
It's just, we've been having that discussion this week.
Motion to accept Tracy Nelson's letter of resignation.
Second.
Motion by Tim and a second by Sean. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to thank Ms. Nelson for her time and wish her the best of luck. Item 7.3 is approval of Gary, how do you say his last name?
Gary
Bob? Gary Bob, junior high golf coach. Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Brian. Further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Easy to teach.
Yep, he is. He's our current shop teacher.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
No, I know. Does he know you want?
Yes.
Item 7.4. Item 7.4 on the agenda is our first reading of policy 213.1 for the district advisory committee.
I made some changes to that because I'll get in more specific to what that group actually does. So, basically, went through with, Ms. Bonnefield and going over all of the different things that it actually is encompassed with. And so, because she made the changes, I have to bring it back to a first reading. But essentially, unless you have no changes based on what's on there, we can move it to the next board meeting for a second reading. But this is specifically addresses everything that committee does, what that committee's responsible for. It just, what was in there just really wasn't matching, it fit with what we needed, so rather than bringing you guys together for a work session on one policy, we figured just make the changes and let you look at it and see the changes what we.
So it was in our packet, so just make sure everybody takes the opportunity to review it for next month's board. Item 7.5 is second reading for revisions for the following district policies. BHD was renumbered to 212.1 for board member compensation and expense. And then the second for BFCA renumbered to 208.1 for review of administration rules. So if there's no questions on those, do I have a motion to approve second readings for those policies?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Brian and a second by Carla. Any further discussion? next regular board meeting is scheduled for April 19th as well. Any additional comments or questions before I ask for